In a world that feels like it's getting more and more complex every single day, where every device, every app is just packed with more, how do we find a little bit of clarity, a little bit of sanity? Well, today we're going to dive into the brilliant work of designer and technologist John Maeda to explore the laws of simplicity. It's kind of like a guide for finding some calm in all the chaos.
We all feel this, right? That constant waterfall of messages, notifications, and things to do. Technology was supposed to make our lives easier, but a lot of the time it feels like we're just trying to keep our heads above water, drowning in this sea of information. We've become uncomfortably full.
And this brings us right to the heart of it all. Maeda gives us this incredibly powerful equation: simplicity equals sanity. Now, this isn't about being cheap or basic, not at all. It's actually a really sophisticated way of thinking, a way to get back our focus and our peace of mind.
Okay, so where do we even begin? Well, the first and maybe the most direct way to get to simplicity is through the first law, reduce.
Just think about one of those old DVD player remotes with like 50 buttons when all you really want to do is press play. The natural instinct is just to get rid of all the stuff you don't need. But the real art here is in that word, thoughtful. It's about carefully balancing what's truly essential versus what's just getting in the way.
So what do you do when you can't just get rid of features? Well, Maeda gives us this really elegant three-step approach. First, you can shrink it. Think about the little icons on your phone. They're tiny, but they get the job done. Second, you can hide the complexity until someone actually needs it, like all those advanced settings tucked away in a menu. And finally, you embody quality. Make what's left feel so valuable and intentional, almost like a beautifully crafted pen.
All right, so after we've thoughtfully reduced everything we can, we still have to deal with what's left. And that brings us to the second law, organize.
And this is just a brilliant way to see it. On the left, you've got 30 random dots, right? It just feels like chaos. But on the right, those same dots are grouped together, and instantly your brain doesn't see 30 things anymore. It sees a few distinct groups. The complexity just feels managed.
So here's the key takeaway. Good organization is kind of like a magic trick for your mind. It doesn't actually get rid of the complexity, but it tames it. It creates this sense of order that makes a whole system feel way, way simpler than it really is.
The evolution of the Apple iPod is the perfect real-world example of this. It started out pretty simple, but the controls grouped around that central wheel. Then, for a little while, it actually got more complex with a separate row of buttons. But then, it achieved this next level of simplicity by integrating or blurring all the controls into one seamless, intuitive surface. That right there is sophisticated organization in action.
So we've reduced and we've organized. Now we come to the third law, which is all about one of our most precious and non-renewable resources, time. This is such a powerful insight because it's something we all feel. When a product or service is fast, we just perceive it as being simple. Think about it, a quick Google search or getting a package delivered overnight. We don't see the massive, complicated systems making it happen. All we see is the simple, fast result. Because the second we're forced to wait, life just feels more complicated.
So when we're dealing with time, there are really two paths we can take. The first one is pretty obvious, just make the wait shorter, speed everything up. But the second path is a lot more subtle. It's more psychological. How can you make the wait itself feel more bearable, more humane?
And the classic example of this is the progress bar. Studies have literally shown that when we see some kind of visual proof that things are moving along, we perceive the wait as being shorter than it really is. Just giving that feedback, that little bit of reassurance, it transforms a frustrating wait into a tolerable one. It's a simple design choice that shows respect for our time.
Okay, so after exploring these core laws, reduce, organize, time, we get to Maeda's 10th and final law. He calls it the one, because it just so perfectly wraps up the entire philosophy of simplicity.
This is it. This is the heart of everything. See, real simplicity isn't just about taking things away. That's actually the easy part. The truly sophisticated move is that second half, thoughtfully adding what is meaningful. It's about being a curator, clearing out all the noise so you can make room for what truly matters.
And that question brings this whole idea right back home to us. In our work, in our homes, in our lives, what are we subtracting and what are we adding? Are we just filling our days with obvious clutter and noise, or are we carefully, thoughtfully creating a life that is focused on meaning?
If this whole journey toward a simpler, more meaningful life resonates with you, and you want to keep exploring how to subtract the noise to add more meaning, go ahead and subscribe to Lazy Reader. Let's find our focus together.